Receiving a cancer diagnosis nowadays goes a little something like this. The doctor calls you with your results, you try your best to process the information, and then you immediately Google how long you have left to live. We rely so much on statistics to help ease our minds, but what if you're always on the wrong side of the statistics? I'm going to walk you quickly through a recent timeline of mine. Starting in 2011, my dad was told that he had finally beat his lung cancer, but he died suddenly shortly after. As it turned out, my dad was among the small percentage of people that developed heart damage as a result of cancer treatment. I was divorced shortly after my dad passed away, and not even a year later, my mom lost her life to pancreatic cancer. 93% of people diagnosed with pancreatic cancer do not survive it. Due to the family history on my mom's side, her doctor recommended that I get a genetic test to see if we were dealing with a family cancer. But he told me not to worry because only 5% of cancers are genetic. Well, good thing I worried about it and got the test because I found out that I'm among the 2% of American women that have the BRCA2 gene. And what being BRCA2 positive meant was that I had an up to 87% chance of developing breast cancer at some point in my lifetime, whereas a normal woman without the gene only has about an 8% chance. And that statistic scared me. That was one I wanted to remain on the right side of. So when I asked my doctors what I could possibly do to prevent myself from getting breast cancer, they said quite simply, have your breast removed. And as crazy as that sounded, I was like, okay. So at the age of 31, I had my very first mammogram. And that was just to ensure that I was healthy enough to move forward with the preventative surgery. But much to everyone's surprise, we found something on my right breast. They did a biopsy that day, and the doctor said, don't worry, only 1 in 5 biopsies come back as cancer. And I remember going home that night, it was actually New Year's Eve, 2012 into 2013, and as I was watching the ball drop with my friends, I thought, there's no way I'm gonna be that 1 in the 5, especially after everything I've already been through. But that same doctor who told me not to worry did call me just a couple days later to tell me that I did indeed have breast cancer. I didn't waste any time. Just 20 days after receiving my diagnosis, I underwent a nipple-sparing bilateral mastectomy with reconstruction. Say that 5 times fast. And everything went great. My doctor said that I had an 85% chance of my cancer never returning. So I skated through the next 2 years. Well, I didn't really skate through. I lost my dream job when the company went under. And oh yeah, I was hit by a car when I was walking across the street. And then in March of 2015, I developed breast cancer again. This time, we decided to be very aggressive with my treatment, and I completed chemotherapy in August of 2015. I completed 33 rounds of radiation in October, and then I took it a step further, and I had my ovaries removed because it was identified that my cancer really liked estrogen. There was one really bright spot in my timeline, and that is that somehow, in all of the tragedy and loss and illness, I managed to meet my soulmate, the person that I love more than anyone in this world. And it just so happens she's also a woman named Sarah. We'll be married 2 years this Tuesday. I don't know what the statistic is on same-sex couples that have the same name, but turns out I'm in the minority of that one too. I can't help but to look at my timeline sometimes and feel like I'm the walking, talking version of Murphy's Law. What can go wrong will go wrong. When I realized I could no longer rely on statistics to help ease my mind, I implemented another system. And that's really what I'm here to talk to you about today. Not what I went through, but how I got through it. So I'm that friend that posts like everything on social media. When I lost my eyebrows to chemo and was trying to figure out how to draw them back on, I posted it. When I was learning how to position a lace front wig onto my forehead, I posted it. And I started to brand these posts with the hashtag start and end happy. And people reached out to me like, how are you staying so strong through everything, and what is this hashtag all about? Well, I developed Start and End Happy to help me, but I realized I'm not the only one that has bad days on their timeline. So I started telling people what it was all about. Start and End Happy is exactly what it says it is. It's starting and ending your days focused on elevating your happiness. I think when a person elevates their happiness, they build their mental strength. And mental strength is what it takes to get through the rough times. So I start and end my days reciting and completing 5 phrases. That's how I elevate my happiness. And those 5 phrases are: today I am grateful for, today I helped someone by, something that made me happy today, today I learned, and tomorrow I will. So you're like, all right, 5 phrases, great. I think that we've all established I'm a big fan of statistics. I don't know what there's a couple different studies online. One says it takes 21 days to make something a habit. Another study says it takes 66 days. Whatever the case may be, you think about people that go to the gym every day and they build their physical strength. I think implementing something like Start and End Happy builds your mental strength. When I first started starting and ending my days happy, I wrote them every day, every morning and every night. But now it's become such a part of my behavior, I don't think I could skip a day if I tried. I went back into my journals when I was writing them every day, and I pulled out some really big examples to share with you to better demonstrate how this process has carried me through the tough times. So the first phrase, today I am grateful for, makes me think about my second bout of cancer, when I was told I would need chemotherapy and that I was going to lose my hair, and I didn't want to lose my hair. I was born a redhead. I'm also in the minority of that statistic, only 2% of the world. And they said my hair might grow back a different color. It did. It grew back white. This is not natural, folks. So I felt like a unicorn. Like, I was so much a ginger, I didn't want to lose that much of my identity. And I knew I wouldn't be able to just like pull it out in clumps. That would have destroyed me. I knew I had to shave my own head. So once I decided that, I called my friend Steve, who owns a hair salon. I was like, I want to do like a head shaving fundraiser at your place. And he's like, I have no idea what that means, but you can do it, because that's just the kind of guy Steve is. So my wife and my friends pounded the pavement. They got local restaurants to donate food. They worked the door. They got donations. And they made that event such a success, and that's one of the things I'm so grateful for. I say a success because we raised $2,500 for the cancer support community that night. Steve fashioned my hair into 3 different styles. I really enjoyed having a mullet. I don't know what that says about me. But I'm just so grateful for everyone that contributed, and even as I'm up here talking about it, I can feel my happiness level elevating. You know, when a person's happy, their body releases hormones like dopamine and serotonin. And I know that you've heard those names before. It's because hormones have been proven time and time again to improve your overall health. Harvard Medical School conducted a study that said gratitude is consistently associated with greater happiness. So if you can just take those moments every day to focus on what you're grateful for, you'll absolutely elevate your happiness. The second phrase that I focus on every day, I pulled out another really big example. Like I said, I brought the big guns today. Today I helped someone by. My first day of chemo, I didn't know what to bring. I think I had my poor wife lug in like 3 suitcases with us. So when I finished chemo, I did an online fundraiser, and I raised money and products, and I assembled 50 what I called chemo kits, things that I found helped me through chemo. And I told my oncologist to give them to the next 50 people that he told needed chemo. I know that those are really big examples. I don't expect everyone to like go shave their head or donate kits to a cancer center, but on a much smaller scale, like every time I'm at the store, I'll pick up a pack of pretty note cards and just pen letters to people that have impacted me in the past. And you just can't believe, you know, for the price of a postage stamp, how much you elevate someone else's happiness and in turn your own. So definitely take the time to focus on what you're grateful for, who you can help. The third phrase I focus on every day is the easy one. Something that made me happy today was, my friends have done a great job with this online using the hashtag, riding bikes, spending time in the garden, making the dean's list. It's just taking that moment to focus on something that makes you happy. Sometimes it's a great cup of coffee, a beautiful sunset. Super easy. Anyone can do that. If you pull away one thing today, at least use this one every day. The fourth phrase, today I learned, Einstein really nailed it when he said, once you stop learning, you start dying. I wholeheartedly believe this. You think about children in how they go to school and they learn new things every day, but as we become adults and we move out of the classroom, we kind of forget how cool that is to learn something new every day. And there's no reason not to. The technology is literally at our fingertips. So they're always in that state of growth and wonder and development. I found a really good example for this one in my journals. So in the spirit of what can go wrong will go wrong, last summer, we're in the thick of a heat wave, and our central air unit just crapped out on us. It got to be 89 degrees in our house. So my wife and I drug our mattress down into the basement, and I couldn't sleep because the spider population down there is like 6 trillion. And she's like Googling how to fix an HVAC. And I'm like, please do not rip that thing apart. You don't know what you're doing. Like, don't touch it. But long story short, Sarah fixed it with a $16 part and like 5 minutes of labor. And we don't do drugs, but let me tell you something. If you fix your central air unit in the middle of a heat wave for 16 bucks, you will feel high. It must be that dopamine. So definitely learn new things. Disclaimer, I'm not encouraging anyone to rip apart any major appliance. The last phrase that I focus on every day is tomorrow I will. And what I've noticed about this phrase is I'm not always focused on the very next day. Maybe I should change it to like in the future I will. But think about any time you've been going through a rough patch. If you can see beyond that rough patch to something positive in the future and look forward to it, I definitely think it helps get you through that tough time. When I first started this process of starting and ending happy, I don't know if I completely believed in it, but I think back to a particularly challenging afternoon. I don't know if anyone in here has gone through chemo or knows someone that has, but chemotherapy kills the cancer cells. It also kills your good cells. It kind of doesn't discriminate. So they'll give you injections to boost your good cells. And some people have no problem with those injections. I had a big problem with them. About halfway through chemo, I was laying on our bathroom floor, and I told my wife I didn't want to continue with chemotherapy anymore. And she got on the floor with me, and she said, come on, practice what you preach. What made you happy today? What are you grateful for? And before I knew it, my tears became laughter. I mean, I was still like miserable, but I was in a happier state of mind, and I was like, I think this really works, you know? Start and end happy is not the cure for clinical depression. Start and end happy isn't the secret to happiness. Start and end happy is just something that really has helped me, and I think that it will help other people too. Statistically, I will probably lose my life to cancer someday. But I no longer rely on statistics to guide me through my days. I focus on starting and ending my days happy, and I hope you can too. Thank you.